love the channel and find it useful in becoming a happy retiree. Subscribe today. We'll go to Jeff, who joins us from Decatur. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to the show. What's going on? How can we help?
Good morning. My question is about spending for college. I've got two in college. We're burning through their 529s. And
burning through.
Yeah, burning through.
So like Sherman's coming through Atlanta. And that's my
clip.
Yeah. Where are they going to school, by the way?
They're both in state. One's at UGA and one's at Tech.
And what are you, so do they have Hope? Or are you doing full boat? And what is full boat right now?
They have Hope.
But it's still costing you about how much?
About, between the two of them, about $30 a year.
Wow, that's still a lot. That's still a lot.
I think a lot of people who haven't gotten to this point overestimate the hope. But we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it is wonderful, but it's still, it doesn't mean that college isn't still a gigantic undertaking. So,
Exactly.
Okay, so how many years left with everybody in school? How many college years remaining?
6. They're both in their first year.
So you have another 6 years times 30, let's call it almost $100,000. No, I'm sorry, almost $200,000. Wow, that is a lot of money. That on the surface is 180, but 30 times 6, yeah, that's a lot. So you've got a long way to go here. And so I guess the question, so you have a question because you have some saved in 529s. How much is that?
Well, the way I see it, our 529s will get us through next year, and then that will leave, and maybe a little more. So then that will leave roughly 2 more years per student, per child.
So really, you've got 4 years to pay for, Jim.
Correct.
Okay, so you've got $120,000 left beyond the 520. Are you using the Georgia plan, the path to college?
Actually, no. It's the Massachusetts plan, and I signed up for it so long ago, I honestly can't remember why I chose that plan.
All right. Well, at least you're glad you have it. And
absolutely.
I guess to some extent, it looks like you guys are. I go back to this multi-share idea on how we really pay for big expenses like this, and most families in America don't just pay for this out of pocket. I don't know if I've told the story on radio, but one of my good friends, he's one of 4 boys. All 4 of them went to Ivy League schools, and the dad paid for all 4. So think about 16 years worth of Ivy League, Harvard, Princeton educations. I mean, it cost him $1 million or more, and he just paid for it out of cash flow. But he was also a famous doctor in Florida that made $1.5 million a year, and he could do it. That's pretty rare, right? So that doesn't happen. What happens in the real world for most people is you figure out a way to share the burden of the cost. And it typically goes something like this. We save a third. And Jeff, it sounds like you've done that. It sounds like you've really saved what will ultimately have paid for about a third of this whole education. You end up, and this is why we don't retire until our kids are through college for the most part, again, in the real world. You typically are working while they're in school and you're paying for a third of it. And then a third usually comes in the form of a loan. So are you okay with them taking out some debt, or are you having a little bit of debt, or would you like it so that they come out of college totally debt free?
I am okay with them taking on some, obviously the less the better, but I'm not adverse to them sharing the burden. Okay. And right now they don't have any debt right now at all, and you guys have no loans out. Correct.
Yeah, see, I think that it's important for them to have some real skin in the game on this. And I know you don't want to, it's so hard when kids get out of school, even if they're educated, it's still hard to get a job. And when they do get jobs, wages are low for new employees. I mean, it's a tough environment to get out there and get financially independent. And I understand that. I think about my own kids at some point, what are they going to do, right? But at the same time, having a little bit of skin in the game where they've got a student loan payment, and maybe it's $200 or $300 or $100 a month, that's going to be a lot for them in their first job, but it really is important for them to have that skin in the game. And even if I get to the point, and my kids are still really young, I've got a 9-year-old at the oldest, Jeff, and then my youngest of 4 is not even turned 1 yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a long way to go. And even if I fast forward 9 years and another 15 years, I want them to share in the cost. Even if I have the ability, if I fast forward and I can pay for it, no problem, I want them to share in it. So I think just as tactically as a parent, it's a great idea to have them have a little bit of that student loan debt. And you're going to keep, I mean, how old are you, Jeff?
50.
So you've got, I mean, you're probably working for another more than 10 years anyway, right?
Whether I want to or not, yes.
So I think the answer here is that you through cash flow, you pay for a third of this. You've got the 529s, and then the balance then goes to them in a student loan. And I think that's a really appropriate way to balance. It's smart financially, and then it's smart from kind of that life lesson perspective of them having some skin in the game.
So for that cash flow, would you recommend backing off, diminishing, or stopping our retirement funding? So to come up with the extra cash, would you say to stop contributing to our 401k and Roth IRA when the 529s run out, and then there would be some more money there?
I'm okay to have it reduced but not stop. So I would have, if your 401k match is still 5%, and I presume there's some matching with your 401k, Jeff?
Yes.
Don't go below that. If you're doing 15 and they match 5, yes, you could potentially reduce it for the two-year period that you've got to get through while you have your college costs the highest. I wouldn't go to 0 in the 401k. I would just go down to at least getting your match. But you could back off for just a little bit. Remember, you're already 50, so you've gotten a little bit of momentum here. And then as soon as they're done, you go back into your harvest period of time, which is that last 10 to 10 years plus of you working. A caller earlier, we talked about the same thing, is that they're getting into their harvest years. And the harvest years are just your highest earning, and kids are gone, and you can make up for a lot of time in that last decade worth of savings. So for you in the next 2 or 3 years to back down a little bit on the 401k and just go down to let's say you only save what they're matching, I think that's fine. So yes. So that's what I'm saying here, is that don't feel bad to back down a little bit on the 401k, because your big saving years are just ahead. As soon as these kids are done paying for school and they get their loans, then you start to really sock it away. So that's my 2 cents on college, Jeff, and this is an important conversation for all parents to really think about. Jeff, thanks for your call, man, and have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thanks for your time.
Hi, I'm Wes Moss, and thanks for taking a minute to hear about what's so different about my new book, You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. So unlike other retirement books, this book will give you a step-by-step guide, whether you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, to learn from what these successful and happy retirees did to get there. I hope you enjoy the book, but more importantly, I know that it'll help you retire sooner than you think.